This presentation is brought to you by the City of Greensboro's Economic Development and Business Support Office.
So City Search closed their office and I started to work out of my home. When I started to work out of my home, that was when I started to say to myself, you know what, let's kind of connect mentally with this Trimark internet marketing company. It was Triangle Marketing Solutions. And so at City Search was a directory. We were one of the first in the industry to sell performance-based products. Google has AdWords, Facebook has their ad structure. Everybody's gotten into the game. There were a couple of competitors that came and went at that time with City Search, but they were really the first to get into that game. They also built websites, and a lot of the websites they built were old. So at that time, I started to connect with some people I was networking with around the area, and began to outsource some website redesign. City Search was getting out of the website business, and so they sold all their websites to a company, and the company did a terrible job at taking care of my clients. My clients complained a great deal, so I felt like it was my job to first and foremost take care of my customers. That was my livelihood, and why I stayed up at night. Because the opportunity for me existed inside of that. If my customers succeeded, then quite possibly I would succeed along with them. And so I began to learn a little bit more about website design and development and SEO, which is search engine optimization. I worked out of my home in both Charlotte and Raleigh for the next year and a half, before I began the process of thinking I needed to hire a full-time employee. So I wasn't a business-minded guy in college. I was an advertising major with a psychology minor and a marketing minor. I had a double minor. So I really didn't know where to begin. Unfortunately, if you want to be an entrepreneur, best of luck to you. You better have a better vision and better management of time than I had, because I'd go to work at 5 and I'd leave at 9 and eat some dinner and go sit down at my desk and get back to work. It wasn't because I didn't want to spend time with the woman that I loved. It was because I had built something that had gotten so out of control, and I was unable to, in every stretch of the imagination, control it and understand it, that I was forced through stress to focus all of my attention on it. And it was awful. It was absolutely awful. It was the worst year of my life by a landslide. And looking back, there's nothing whatsoever I could have done to make it better. We did $1.6 million that year. The challenge of preparing for growth is it is a full-time job to prepare for growth, and the strategy of staying one step ahead at all times, which is difficult because it requires assumptions, and assumptions will lead to failure. And so you've got to have a vision, and you've got to be intuitive, I believe, in order to be a very successful entrepreneur, and you obviously have to be willing to fail in order to succeed. The side effect of working in a rapid growth environment is not for everyone. So to grow from myself 6 years ago to where we are today, pushing 30 full-time employees, what I have learned as I've really become nothing more than an HR manager for my company. That's my primary responsibility, is taking care of the professionals who take care of our customers. Is that many that come into that operation, to my operation, are unprepared for how fast we move, because you cannot do numbers like we've done without trying to get 2 days out of every one. Implementing a consistent recruitment strategy is a crucial piece. Now there's a few recruitment challenges, and recruitment is a full-time job. And so you've got to hire the right professionals to fit into this culture that you try to build, which is not 100% controllable. You got to be able to recognize very quickly who doesn't fit the culture, who isn't the right fit, and with all due respect to that profession, you've got to say goodbye to them. And then obviously create a plan for retaining quality talent, which is ultimately the number one most important part of my job every single day is continuing to improve my plan for how I retain my professionals inside of our operation, because losing professionals is very costly to the bottom line. I started to look for office space for quite a while. I'm very picky, and I wanted retail space. I thought, if I'm going to spend money on an office space when I had an office space, this is in the bottom of my house, then I'm going to have a retail space so that I can buy a neon sign. Because if I can put a neon sign outside of my building, then at least I'll have advertising. I understood the value of advertising. So I had to find a road that I could put a neon sign on that could equate to the cost of my rent. And so when I finally did that, I moved forward. $1,800 a month payment for rent, 30,000 cars a day, Edwards Mill Road, which if you've ever been to Raleigh, it's the road that leads down to Crabtree Valley Mall. And so we moved into a shopping center with a pizzeria and a UPS store and a Planet Beach and a dry cleaner. And here's this internet marketing firm that really should be tucked away in some, back corner building, because we didn't really have walk-ins, but we had a sign. And I would have never known this, but if you have a tight space, and whenever it is that you own your business and you're in a space that you're growing out of, and you've got to figure out a way to get more people in there because you're in a lease or whatever the reason may be, you'd be surprised at the value of a wall. So while walls take up space, what I learned through this process is that when you build walls, you gain space. The secret to success, if there is a secret, is just getting out of bed and getting it done. You got to work harder than the person beside of you. You got to work harder than your mentor. You've got to work harder than the people that you want to be more like. I was told that at a very young age, and I believe it.